art students. If you are watching this video, you should be in Visual Art 1 class, or you are in Visual Art 2 class. If you are in a different art class at Hernando High School, you don't have to make a portfolio, so you don't have to watch this video. Today, I'm going to talk to you about the art portfolio. So let's get into this. The first thing I want you to write down is the vocabulary. So today's vocabulary word is portfolio. An artist's portfolio is an edited collection of their best artwork intended to showcase an artist's style or method of work. A portfolio is used by artists to show employers their versatility by showing different samples of current artwork. You will be making your own portfolio this semester. It will hold your artwork. What will you need to make a portfolio? We're going to make a name illustration portfolio cover in Visual Art 1. This is our first big art project. Your objective for learning is to personalize a portfolio in which you will store all your class artwork throughout this semester. Your goal is incorporating your name and the elements of art into a creative design on the portfolio cover. You will also be including a border that I will teach you how to do. The materials that you will need are the ones that are on this slide. You will need pencils, eraser, and practice paper, of course. The practice paper that you can use for this project is in your sketchbook. You will also need a large sheet of white poster board. You will want it to be about 22 inches by 28 inches. That way, when you fold it in half, it will hold the paper that you are using to do your art projects on. You also need a yardstick, but you can use a ruler because I don't know how many people have a yardstick at home, but I only have yardsticks in my classroom. You can also use colored pencils and/or markers. If you have things like acrylic paint, paint pens, highlighters, maybe even crayons, watercolor, all of those things can be used on this project. Make sure whatever you use on this project is a medium that dries and will stay. So something like charcoal or pastel is not a good idea to use on your portfolio cover. Duct tape. That is what I recommend for taping up the sides of your portfolio. Make sure that the duct tape that you use is good quality and will last all year. You can use whatever duct tape you would like. Sometimes it is nice to get fun, colorful duct tape that complements your design of your portfolio cover. Poster board. If you are taking art at school, then I have got you covered. If you have paid your student fee, then part of that went to buying the poster board needed for this project. If you need poster board, just come by the school to the front office and tell them that you're taking Visual Art 1 and that you have paid for a poster board. If you have not paid your art fee to Hernando High School, then you're going to need to go to the store and buy your own poster board for this project. You will be using white poster board. So make sure that you get the heaviest, nicest white poster board that you can afford at the store that you go to. You want to use white poster boards so that your design stands out and it's not competing with any other things. All the artwork you do will be no bigger than your portfolio. Most pieces that I ask you to complete will be on 12 by 18 paper, and they will fit nicely into the 22 by 28 portfolios. There is a slick side and there is a paper side of most poster board. So make sure that you fold it so that the dull side is out on the sheet of poster board. You don't want to try to color with markers on the slick side of your portfolio. It's going to be frustrating and it's going to smear everywhere. I love using Sharpie permanent markers on this project. They are nice and bright. It's easy to get a consistent color without streaks, and they do fine on the slick side, But the best thing to do is to use the paper side of your portfolio, especially if you want to use colored pencils. For this project, I usually use a mixture of media like colored pencil and graphite and marker and watercolor. Excuse, excuse me. So if you want to use mixed media, if you want to be able to use like things like gel pen and all those on your portfolio cover as well, you want to make sure that you use the dull side of the poster board. So I recommend just folding it that way to begin with. The other thing that you need is duct tape, and you can get all types of patterns, even bacon. I love bacon, but you should be able to find something that fits your portfolio or fits your personality. There we go. You will have to purchase your own so you can get exactly what you want. If you're in the classroom, I will have plain duct tape available for those of you that don't get your own duct tape. If you're in the classroom, you are more than welcome to use yarn. It does make the portfolio slightly smaller, so I usually just recommend you taping the sides of your portfolio so you have the whole thing. But that is an option that you'll see on one of the student examples that I have done. I have a limited selection of yarn colors though. That is what you will do to your portfolio. Ignore the handle. We're just going to do the tape on the sides of your portfolio, and you want it to be where it is a pocket. So you want your design facing the right direction so that you can slide your artwork in and your name is nice on the side. And I will help those of you that are in the classroom, but those of you that are home are on your own. So I hope you tape it the right way and I hope you draw the right way. Your assignment will be to create a portfolio with a front and back design. On the front, that design should incorporate your name in a logo or a creative graphic style. So that's why we've already learned about lettering before we got to this project. You should have some kind of background design that reflects your own personal interests, and it should be surrounded with a patterned border. So one of the next lessons or videos that you will see from me is me showing you on a worksheet how to do a patterned border. And then I want you to take that and I want you to change it with your own shapes, your own colors, and make your own pattern border around your portfolio. On the back of your portfolio, you're going to do a design that incorporates the elements of art and principles of design. If you're wondering what that looks like, just hold your horses a little bit, because at the end of the slideshow, I actually have images of student work, and then I have a couple portfolios actually sitting here on the ground, and I will show you those as well. And I will actually try to remember to maximize my part of the screen so that you can see those portfolios. So I have some student examples right here. So here we have some different names where the student did their name reflected and put a different really cool pattern in each one of the names, and then they colored with colored pencil and did some really nice shading. We've got this one with Courtney's name, and she made the sea a dragon and then made the whole background this kind of Asian scene. Jordan did something really interesting where they actually took letters like the teachers have in their classroom, like up on the bulletin board, and they traced those letters so they would have perfect letters, but then they did all these designs and colors that look a little bit patriotic and kind of like a tattoo mixed together, and then it looks like they have some kind of quote kind of artistically mixed in, so it looks a little bit like graffiti, a little bit like a tattoo, and a little bit of like graphic design kind of all mixed into the same really awesome portfolio cover. And then Andrew's portfolio was really nice. I liked how they really took time making those 3D block letters that we practiced, and then they actually shaded them each in their own color. So really beautiful designs. And the only thing that the first one and the last one needed was a border to really make them pop. So that is actually part of your requirements now. Here is also some past student work from Hernando High School from a few years ago. Really beautiful lettering design, graffiti inspired, but then she's got a lot of nice feminine elements. And that is a reference to Van Gogh's Starry Night right there, but it's, you know, unique to her. All right, so one thing everyone has to do is use your first name on the portfolio. So incorporate your name into a creative design in your sketchbook first. Before you ever touch that poster board, I want you to practice your layout and design. You can design your name as a logo. You can design your name as street art. You can incorporate an interest. You can look up things on the internet for inspiration. But I want to see your design and I want to approve your design before you move on to the portfolio cover. And this is even true for my students at home. So I need you to submit this assignment on time on Schoology. I will check it the night before you're supposed to start your portfolio. So please hold off on starting your portfolio until you get a comment back from me saying I approve. Please move on to the next step. If you don't hear that message yet, that means that you submitted it late. So please wait for the approval before you move on. I know you're eager, but I want to make sure that the design works before you put a bunch of time into putting it on a large piece of poster board. In your sketchbook, your first job, I'm going to say this again, is to write some ideas. Think about the lettering styles that we practiced a few weeks ago. Do several different things so I have something to choose from. A lot of times our first idea is not our best idea. So come up with 2 or 3 different ideas to show me, and then I will give you my approval. If you're online, I will try to check as much as possible, but do remember that I am teaching, and then I do have a life when I go home, so I can't be on my computer and my phone 24/7, but I will check several times throughout the day that this is due, and then I will check once again in the morning that the day after it's due, and I will go ahead and say, like, I approve of all the ones that have been submitted on time. If you submitted it late, then you're just going to have to deal with my schedule. If you're in the classroom, then when you're done, you need to raise your hand and either come see me or I will come see you, and then I will say it's approved, and I will actually physically give you the poster board so you know that you can move on. All right. Those of you at home, you're going to fold your poster board in half yourself. If you're in the classroom, I've already folded it for you. So what you're going to have is like a large sheet of poster board like this. And then I want you to do your best to line up the edges and then make a nice crease. And it helps if you have something like a spoon or a ruler to help make the crease and make it nice and crisp. If you just do a terrible job on the first sketch of your portfolio, hopefully that doesn't happen, because remember, you practiced it in your sketchbook and got approval from your art teacher first. Remember, we are going to do design on the front and the back, so you can flip it inside out, but then you run into the issue that if your portfolio is slick on one side, it's going to be really hard to use anything other than Sharpies. All right, step 1 is getting your approved design sketched on your portfolio. So you're gonna want to sketch it on the dull side, the paper side that's not shiny. And so I have actually completed step 1, and I don't feel like you need to see it big, so I'm not gonna make myself big. But if you see, like, there is me and, well, not me, I wish. And then I've got like a little dog behind me, and I've got like a sugar skull over here, and I started a rose, I never finished that. I've got my border sketched out, so I leave space for it. I've also left some space for where I'm gonna put tape, like sketched all that out with a ruler. And then it's hard to see on camera, but I've actually got CROSS and some like fancy lettering across that. So my problem that I'm going to address as I make this is, how do I make the name the focus? Because I want the girl to be able to be seen, but I don't want that to take away the focus from my lettering. So those are some of the design issues that I'm going to address as I'm adding color to this sketch. But I've got step 1 finished. So I have sketched my approved design that I approved by myself on my portfolio cover. Step 2 is going to be coloring your illustration or design. You want to make sure that it looks finished and done. So do not think that drawing it in pencil is going to be enough. You're going to want to use things like colored pencils, markers, watercolor, and different things to make it look finished. 9 times out of 10, you need to cover up all your pencil lines for it to be considered done, unless you're doing a pencil rendering, which most of you, we're not there yet. All right, so what you need to do is sketch it out in pencil. And if you look at my sketch in person, it is rough. Like, I've got a bunch of lines where I was just trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do the shape. I'm not really worried about that right now, because what I'm going to do later is I'm going to take a Sharpie and I'm going to ink over those pencil lines. And when I'm inking, I need to be focused, and I need to make sure that I draw the lines exactly the way that I want them, so that way I can go back once the ink is dry and erase erase the pencil marks and then add color pencil and gel pen after that. So that's my plan. Do not feel like you have to do your portfolio with exactly the same medium or style that I did. I want you to be expressive of your own personality and interests here. So that's why I'm giving you a little bit of freedom, a little bit of direction, but also a little bit of freedom. Step 3 is going to be to tape the sides. So after you've done the front and back of your portfolio with your design, you've sketched it, you've inked it, you've added color to it, you're going to tape it up. Leave the top open. I will have at least 1 or 2 students every single time that will do their portfolio upside down. Why? This doesn't make sense. You can't put artwork in a closed portfolio. So make sure that your portfolio is facing the right way when you're drawing. Don't get overexcited here because it's going to be eventually a pocket that you can put artwork in. This is an example of a portfolio that has not been decorated. All right, you see the tape on the sides. Step 3, tape it, and then I can reach my hand in and I can have artwork that I pull out of my portfolio. So that is the point, is so that you can use it like a pocket to keep your artwork in. And wow, Miss Cross has a lot of unfinished art in here. All right, next. I'm going to show you a couple other student examples that students have done at Hernando High School, and I thought they were beautiful, so I took pictures of them. There's Nadia's portfolio. Look at that design. Clay, Kelvin, Nat, and Peyton. Very different styles, very different mediums, and different skill levels, but they all did a beautiful job, put a lot of effort in. So that's what I'm looking for here, is that you put in the effort. I'm also going to ask you this week who your favorite artist is. So be thinking about that, because you're going to have to answer that question on Schoology. Who is your favorite visual artist? What is their style? What is your favorite work of art by them? And why do you like them? So hopefully I don't get a bunch of people that just say Van Gogh and don't know anything about him. I'm looking for different responses here, and I want you to have a reason for why you like whoever you choose. So it doesn't matter who you choose, but it does matter that you have thought about it and that you actually know what their art looks like. This is a whole list of suggested artists. So if you're having a hard time thinking of people, yes, Van Gogh is on this list, but so is Picasso and Clay and Kahlo and Michelangelo and Da Vinci and Lichtenstein and Pollock and O'Keeffe and Ringgold. There's a lot of other artists out there. So do a little bit of research before you pick if you don't already have someone in mind. And if you want to reference this list, you can always pause the video right here, take a screenshot, and then do a little bit of research. Here are some other student examples of the back of your portfolio. So let me talk about that just a little bit. On the back of your portfolio, you do not have to do a border like I was saying you're going to have to do on the front. I just want you to do a design that incorporates the elements of art and principles of design. And sometimes I have students who do line, shape, color, form, value, texture. What did I miss? Shape. So sometimes they do that. That's okay, but it's really exciting when they actually do a drawing that incorporates all of them together. The reason I had you do the worksheets first, where you drew one for each element of art and one for each principle of design, is to help you kind of inform this portfolio art project. So what you did, even though you spent a lot of time on it, and it is kind of like a project, this is an art project, okay? This is actually going to take you a long time, and you should put a lot of effort into it. So I expect this to take multiple days worth of work, and it should look like it took you multiple days to work on it. And I really thought these students did a good job of including all the elements of art. Like in that first one, it's a picture of dolphins, but I see line, I see repetition, I see composition, I see emphasis, like color, all these different elements of art. The other ones of the shapes and the arrows, like it's not a picture of anything, but I definitely see a lot of elements of art and principles of design incorporated in that. So beautiful work. I love the tree and all the different Zentangle patterns they did all over it in color, like absolutely beautiful job. So these are some examples of what I want you to do on the back of your portfolio after you've done the front. This is going to take us quite some time. So get comfortable, set aside some time every day to work on this art project. Enjoy the process. Now, before I go, what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself full screen somehow. Okay, I think I'm full screen, and I think I'm still recording, hopefully. And what I want to show you is a couple examples that I pulled from students in the past that did a really nice job. And I think I'm going to save this one for last because it's probably my favorite. All right, so this student, this was before I taught how to do borders. And I've had this one so long that the edges are starting to untape themselves a little bit because I've also stuffed extra artwork into this. But look, it's a pocket and there's artwork inside of it. So this is an example of a really nice job that a student did that is not necessarily like an art kid, but you can tell they really spent a lot of time like sketching and then drawing very neatly with the Sharpie over it, coloring things in, and then erasing their pencil lines. So this is a great example of something that you can do even if you don't feel like you're very artistic. Okay, the student did a great job. Then if you look at the back, look at that nice design that incorporates contrast, rhythm, shape, pattern, 3D form. Like they did a beautiful job, line. So I was really impressed with this student. And so don't feel like if, oh, I'm not artistic, I can't do this. Yes, you can. Look at the student's portfolio. They put a lot of effort in and it shows. This other one, this is an artsy kid. So this is like what I'm expecting from those of you who are artistic and you know who you are. And this is what I was talking about where I had an example of a student who did, what is that, yarn instead of tape. So that is what you could do if you wanted to, but this is kind of hard to do and then it doesn't always last as well. Sometimes the yarn gets ripped out. So that's why I recommend just doing tape because if the tape comes off, you can just retape it. If you look right here, she did a really nice job with that faux calligraphy that we learned. And then she's got like the different kind of style lettering down here. And she was even thinking about design in that she made her first name very large and then her last name smaller. And then she's got this really nice watercolor kind of like, you know, flow going right here in the middle with this nice circle. And then she just added some little designs here and there with like a gold paint pen to just kind of set it up so it didn't look so plain. And then this is the type of thing I'm going to teach you how to do on the edges. So this is that border design I was talking about. So this portfolio would be a little bit boring if there wasn't this really nice colorful border all the way around it. Their back is really nice. And look, this is better than what I was talking about earlier where like someone's just like, yeah, line, shape, color, form. She kind of did that, but I love how she really got into lettering. This is a student who really liked design. And so she did a really nice large elements and then she arranged the elements around it with like a little picture and she showed me each one of them in the way that she drew the words. Okay, so this is a really nice job of doing the back of your portfolio as well. And also look at the student and how they thought about their border, matched the colors that they use for their lettering, and everything's just really, really nice. And this is a different example of what your border design could look like. So that's just a very simple checkerboard pattern that then she went back over and drew just a few lines that everyone is capable of drawing. If you write the alphabet, you're capable of drawing all of these shapes. So don't feel like if you are not artistic that you can't learn. That's why you're in art class. If you practice, you will get better. So this is definitely something that is achievable for all of you. So that's why it is our first big art project. So as always, if you have questions, please reach out to me through Schoology. I will respond as soon as I can, usually during the business day or the next business day. And I hope you have a great week. Have fun, make some art, and I look forward to seeing your portfolio.